Hello and welcome back to a very special edition of the Midweek Addiction. That's right, we're back. It's the Game Huggers podcast, and this year we're talking memories, your favorite gaming memories. What does that mean? It could mean anything. It could mean the day you saved up enough allowance to buy that big game, Super Mario Brothers 3, or perhaps in Connor's case, it was Halo, because I'm sure that's the game he'd been saving up for all summer. We're just sharing memories. We're going to talk about gaming things. We're going to do a couple quick introductions here as well. Connor, back again, sir. Thanks for being on the show again.
Thanks for having me. I don't know why you keep falling for it.
It's the hardest part about falling is getting back up, man.
I hear you.
And then, of course, once again, returning to the podcast. This is probably the most exciting, momentous thing ever. I mean, of all the people returning to the podcast this year, John, you're one of them. Nullity, welcome back, sir.
Glad to be here. Technological differences. So if I apologize, the audio is really crazy. I can barely hear.
Oh, no.
I think my router's drunk.
It very well could be, but we can hear you pretty well. The video isn't quite as crisp as I'd hoped, but you're just fine. It could be much worse. I like the apparel. Where do you get these such cool things as duophile? Where do you get that stuff? That looks pretty neat.
It all comes from my loins. Weak. Fuck off.
Wow.
It comes from a place of love.
That's awesome. So, all right. So doing a little bit of introductions,
My stuff's really jacked. I'm going to reboot. I'll be right back.
All right, man. Sounds good. No, we'll be here, man. We will be here. I'm not going anywhere. So,
I'm going to miss that guy.
Yeah, I know. It was such good times. It was like, I
feel like when he told me to fuck off, we really connected.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, that's usually where the connection's made.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how have you been doing, man? What's new?
I've been doing all right, honestly. Just mostly work stuff. This is kind of our busy time of year, so.
Oh yeah. No,
everybody gets back from holidays and was like, "Oh shit, we put that off and we need to do it now."
Yep.
How about yourself?
You know what? It's very, very similar for me too. I've been, I don't know if I've shared a lot of what my work situation is, but I did start a new job in November with another consulting firm. So I'm still doing development work and stuff. But my project began in November. It's been an interesting life cycle working with them from beginning before even any development was made and a lot of decisions were made. We didn't have any real ideas on what tools we were going to use or anything. So I've been seeing all of that process from the very beginnings of a project like that. It's been pretty cool. Nice. But now we're getting into the dev work, and now it's getting like, we're like, okay, we need to do this. We have this to do by Friday. We have this to do by another Friday, and my deadlines are coming and going. And it's like, oh God.
Everything's ramping up for you.
Exactly. Yep. So it's been good though. Work's been busy. Yeah, it's kind of crazy stuff going on. But all in all, I cannot complain. Things are good. Things is good.
That's okay. We'll be hearing complaints in about 5 minutes. Isn't that when Art comes on?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'm sure that's the whole world's going to shit. Everyone hates him.
IRC forever. Discord is terrible.
Discord is shit. Yeah, the PC Engine.
Shoutbox for life.
Shoutbox for life. The PC Engine community is shit. Yeah, I'm sure there's all sorts of fun stuff coming on. No,
I mean, I won't lie. I was perfectly happy when he attributed the downfall of the PC Engine community to around the time I arrived. I'm like, I'm kind of flattered that you think I could do that. Like,
it's your fault. It's all you.
I'd like to think I had some help. I mean, I'd like to thank Nightwolf. He couldn't have done it without him. Oh no, that's an absolute fact. That guy couldn't have done it without him for sure. Couldn't have done it without you, buddy.
No, but okay, now I'm back. Sorry, I've been setting up the links and junk like that.
No worries.
So, man, gaming memories. I have a few good stories to tell, but first off, Well, you can't really tell on that little screen there, but can you tell what's playing behind me back there?
It looks like a Raiden game.
It is. It's the 5th one that's on the Xbox One.
Oh, nice.
So I moved my setup. We've been having a lot of technical. What did John say? Technological differences. That was funny. In the other room, I'd been streaming out of there, and I do all my schoolwork in there. I do video watching. I'll do all sorts of shit in there. I've never had a problem once ever until like 3 weeks ago when we started doing this again. And man, every week it seems like my audio is just terrible. So move closer to the router. I'm literally like 20 feet difference. I couldn't imagine it being a huge difference, but apparently it is. So
I think some of the weather had a lot to do with that. Honestly, you guys were getting pounded with that snow.
Yeah, no, we're getting pounded, man. And speaking of getting pounded, Sarumaru will not be a part of the podcast this week. Oh, wait a second. I'm kidding. No, actually, I didn't. Hold on. Maybe I should get him on here. I didn't send him a thingy.
Ah, dude.
Well, I mean, come on. This has been slapped together. Slapped really poorly together. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Okay. Let me see if I can get him. Yeah, I just man, trying to keep up with everything. It's been one of those days. I literally just sat down and started setting this up like 15 minutes before we
been there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There. Last minutes. So any new pickups recently or anything cool that you want to share? Otherwise, we'll just start sharing stupid memories.
Honestly, the last game I bought, and I don't know if it's like I'm just getting too old for everything or but outside of Resident Evil 2, I have bought literally nothing this year.
Damn.
Yeah, I know. I feel kind of like somewhat guilty, but
oh, you know what? I got a really cool racing game on the Switch. That Turbo, what is it called? High Velocity Turbo or something like that?
Is that the one that's supposed to be F-Zero like?
No, it's nothing like F-Zero. Matter of fact, it's more like Top Gear.
Oh, what's the one that was like F-Zero? There was one, and
I don't know.
I think it was. That's gonna bug me now.
Horizon Chase Turbo. That's the one.
Oh, nice.
And Tetris 99 as well.
Yes, Tetris 99. I did play a little bit of that.
It's so fun. Yeah, that's super cool.
I did play a little bit of that. That's the Battle Royale game we deserve.
It is. Yes, it is. I like it. I'm super stoked about Tetris 99. The best I've placed so far was 10th place.
7th.
7th. Oh my God. 7th.
Dude, my friend's wife is like a beast at that. She's been getting first place, like a whole bunch of them, and he keeps sending them. I'm like, what the hell's she doing?
How's that possible?
I don't know, but she's apparently ridiculously good at Tetris.
Nice. Tetris is, I don't know what it is. It's the hand-eye coordination. It's weird because I've known lots of girls that are really good at it. I'm not by any means any good at it at all. But yeah, so this is that racing game. I've just got it a couple days ago, and look at all my fingerprints. That looks beautiful. But like, it was actually, I saw it on an episode of GameSack. They were talking about games. I don't know. It was just like almost like a commercial or whatever. But it's a game that is a newer game that plays like an old school game. So. Yeah. Oh God, it looks beautiful. You can't tell on what I was just showing there, but oh my God, it looks awesome.
The car kind of reminds me of Outrun too, which I like.
Yeah, it's
who hates Outrun?
Nazis. That's who. Yeah, it looks gorgeous. The game looks super cool. Anyway, sorry, I'm not going to sit and play games while we're. I should just play games.
Just going to sit here, play games.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a live stream, and I'll just hold the thing sideways so that you can't I can't play it because I won't be actually looking at it, but you guys can't see it either because it's garbage. But all right, so gaming memories. Oh, what was that? Was that your DS?
3DS, yeah.
Oh, we should just do it. We should do an episode where we're just both sitting here like this and talking.
I was like, I gotta have one around here somewhere on my desk, but that was the closest thing.
I don't have a 3DS. All I have is the original. I think I've got a DSi. I think that's the most recent DS that I got. I know, right?
That's old.
It is super old. Hey, and John Nullity is back if he is able to unmute himself. Looks like he muted himself.
He did mute himself.
We can hear you, sir. Hey, buddy.
So apparently my nice webcam isn't working, but the little shitty one down here in my laptop screen is working. So enjoy the double chin view from down below.
Oh man, it's any view from you down below is perfect with me, my friend.
I'm not wearing any pants.
Yeah, but is anybody on this?
I don't think so.
Like, I just take mine off before we start.
That's the first thing that I do pretty much when I get home from work. That's kind of like required. Like, boom, I don't have any pants on. I actually, while I'm walking out the car door, I'm like, the pants are just starting to drop.
Taking them down.
They're down. They're gone. It's like pants. So, John, how are you doing? Any new pickups or anything going on in your world that you want to share with the entire world watching right now, which is an entire one viewer?
All one of them? Yes. I've actually got two viewers.
Oh wow, double
100% increase. Hell yeah!
Ever since you joined, our numbers have doubled.
It's that dual file influence, man.
It's got to be the dual file bump, and you should see a doctor if you get the dual file bump. However, I've done a few pickups. I got these batteries. They're pretty nice, and I met someone special. Got a new girlfriend.
Oh man, that's awesome, dude.
Oh, nice sock, man.
That's so good. I'm so glad that moment just happened.
I'm trying to get myself invited back more often.
You will.
To be fair, with material like that, he's got to be a shoo-in.
To be fair.
To be fair.
To be fair.
I say.
So this week, John, I don't know if you were here when I mentioned it, but we're going to talk gaming memories. Some of your favorite stories that you want to share, any silly ass, memories that you have of like, man, this one game, it took me ridiculous amounts of work to get, and I'll tell you why or something. So I have a couple stories in the back of my head. I've got dozens that I can sit and talk about. I mean, honestly, when we get together at game cons and stuff like that, I'm sure we have tons and tons of hilarious stories that we can talk about. I mean, some of the most ridiculous stories probably come from our forums, history and anger and angst and all kinds of shit like that. But we'll just talk about memories of like gaming memories and stuff like that. And if anybody wants to go first, I have a silly one that I could talk about. It's actually a sad and depressing one. It's super sad. I'll go first. Sure.
Go first, by all means.
So now I'm an old guy. I'm an old guy. The first system I had ever gotten wasn't really a system, it was more of a computer, I guess. And that was the Tandy color computer. I got it in the Christmas of 1984. I was 5 years old and almost 6. I'm sorry. Yeah, almost 6. But I had grown up with it. Everybody had Atari, everybody had Coleco and television, stuff like that. I had my Tandy. Every couple months, my parents would keep getting me more and more games. They were really cheap, easy to find. You could go to Radio Shack and get games for probably, I don't know, maybe 10, 15, 20 bucks at most for the color computer. And so I had a nice, decent collection probably about 3 or 4 years later. Well, long story short, my mother remarries. She basically, it's like the F and Brady Bunch, because my family was huge and this guy's family was huge. So when we all came together, it was like, oh my God, all these kids that were like my age and a little bit older, all of a sudden were going to be living with us. And so I had this game system, I had all these games, and the guy, my mom's new husband, was much more strict with things. Things had to be cleaned up. Things had to always be like in a perfect manner. Like if your room wasn't straightened up every day when he came home from work, there's something bad's going to happen. And somehow, some way, we were playing video games and left some of the games out. Not just some of the games, all the games out. And so my dad, the new guy, he's my stepdad, but my dad, he decides to take every single one of the cartridges and throws them in a paper bag and puts them in a closet to hide them, to kind of teach me a lesson or whatever. And I didn't know where they went, and I was freaking out. And he was like, next time you'll know better. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's awesome. Well, about 2 weeks went by, and finally I'm like dying that I'm not able to play my games and stuff. And so I'm like, can I please have my games back? I'll do anything. I'll do whatever chores you want. And he's like, yeah, sure. So they're actually in your sister's closet. I put them in a paper bag. They're all just sitting in a closet. And we're sitting at the dinner table, and my sister's like, are you serious? He's like, yeah. She's like, I was cleaning out my closet and there was bags of shit in there, and I just threw them in a garbage bag and put them out on the side of the road. And the garbage man came and threw it and they were gone. They were probably gone for a week before I even realized where they'd gone.
So we're doing traumatic memories.
Well, this is just the first one. That's like, that's like,
how deep is this rabbit hole?
Oh my God.
That was the worst thing. That I just couldn't believe it. And I was like, you know, of course. So I'm like talking to my mom. I'm like, how the hell would you marry this guy? All these, I hate everyone here. All these people are horrible. I was so much happier and blah, blah, blah. It was just, oh man.
So,
yeah.
So how guilty did he feel for that? Like at all, or he just didn't give a shit?
None. Nope. And it was weird the family is it was like a pretty big shell shock because I was very spoiled. I was basically an only child because my mom had well, it's a long story, but all my brothers and sisters are much older than me. But when she remarried and I had kids that were along my normal age, it was just a big blindsided by a very different philosophy in parenting and stuff like that. So I was used to getting whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, to now having to share the spotlight with a bunch of other kids, and the rules were a lot more strict. So, oh man, it was the worst. It was so sad, so depressing.
You lost that gravy train.
I did, man. Yeah, and I had some cool games. You know, of course, since then I'm an adult now, so I can buy my own stuff. But I probably reacquired about 10 of those games that were really fun. I don't get the Tandy out very often to play games as often as I should. Probably just conventions, really. But yeah, my favorites that I lost that day were I had RoboCop for the Coco 3. I had Downland, which is spectacular. It is really neat. It's like a mix of Super Mario Brothers and like Donkey Kong. It was really cool. Kind of like Spelunker on the NES or Spelunker.
That's a fun game.
It is, but Downland controls much better. It's neat. It's a good one.
Yeah, I think games on the 5200 control better than Spelunker does.
Yeah, it's got some problems.
It's not great.
It's
not great. Came from Atari households. I was a Commodore household, you know.
Nice.
Do you guys have a Commodore 64 growing up?
I never did. Nope. I had one as an adult. I have a VIC 20, a box VIC 20 right there.
Nice.
But yeah, nope, never had Commodore. I was Tandy. Fuck Commodore.
Dude, we didn't even get a computer until like, you know, the IBM PC was the thing, like 19 back in early 90s.
Yeah, you missed out then. I mean, Commodore 64, you know, mid 80s, it was the shit. My sister and I spent countless hours making games on it. Like, okay, I say making games. They had computer magazines back then, and like entire thick ass sections would be dedicated to what was called MLX code. It's machine language code. Just lots of, you know, hexadecimal alphanumeric shit. And you would type in 40 pages of this code.
Yeah, I know.
And if you're lucky and you didn't fuck it up, you would get a new game, and it was great. We spent so many days taking shifts doing that. And, you know, after days, you know, we're like, okay, it's time to try it. And God, who can never forget the load, whatever, .8, .1 on the Commodore. Lots of good games that way.
Yep.
We also...
Did you? I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but was that assembly language or was that more of Microsoft Basic?
It wasn't Basic. It was just big chunks of stupid ass Henshin engine bullshit. Everybody hated it.
That game fucking sucks.
Hey,
big chunks of stupid, huh?
What's up, dudes? I didn't know there was a Huggers today.
Yeah, I know. This is super last minute. We were talking about it. We were talking about topics on the Discord, and we came up with, I came up with gaming memories. We're just sharing stories about like I don't know. I just shared a story about how my dad threw out an entire bag full of games that I had left out, and he threw it away on accident. Well, my sister technically did.
So are we talking about like super sad stories?
Well, that's the first. I know, right? That's the only.
And he's like, so it's trauma center.
That's the only one I've shared so far. But John was just about to speak more about Commodore and stuff like that. And yeah, it's that was the only sad one I have. All the rest of mine are funny. So
the remainder of the Commodore story wasn't too long. We had these text adventure games we loved. They had rudimentary, not ASCII graphics, but, you know, the Commodore blocky, you know, 80 width console type, you know, graphics or whatever. And there's this one game called Murder at Marple Manor. and we hacked the shit out of it. We turned it into Escape from Gilligan's Island. Just editing the basic code. It's this massive text adventure, and I wish we still had it because it was stupid as hell. But I miss it. It was good times. We spent countless hours just, dicking around with that. It's good times.
That's so funny. I had a similar stories about that too. Nothing in super depth, but like Tandy games that we would. Are you done, Saru? The hell, man. We had similar games like that too. I'd get like program books, and actually I've got them somewhere of Tandy basic codes for like games that were like 25 pages, but I never had a tape deck or a disk drive to save games. So we would like sit there and do the same thing, taking shifts and just typing it all in. And then of course you hit, you finally get to the end of it, or you get to a good breaking point and you try to run it, and it'll be like error line 847. It's just like going all the way back up to it. And yeah, it was so fun though. That stuff's awesome. There are a lot of emulators for like Commodore and Tandy and then even like the Amstrad and those like Euro type computers online, where you can create programs, save them to text files, and then you go to load them as text, and it'll just like load all the code and hit run, and it runs like that. So you can save them on PCs and play them in emulators and stuff like that. It's kind of neat. The Tandy one's actually really cool too. I played a bunch of games that people still make these days. It's pretty neat.
There was a couple of them. I think it was the old Apple ones or something, where you could play sound files if you connected it through your phone, and it would act like you were playing them from the cassette tape, and it would load games that way. So you could just store your games as sound files, and I really liked that too.
Yep. What is the Spectrum? ZX Spectrum?
Yeah, the ZX Spectrum works with that. The old Apple IIs do some with it.
Yeah, I saw people using their iPods, connecting them to that.
That's cool.
Yeah, I was like, that's a good use for it. If you really need to play the Oregon Trail again.
Right.
Did anyone watch that Bandersnatch thing on Netflix?
No, I heard a lot of good things about it though.
Oh, it was okay. Maybe people liked it. I ended up watching the same shit over and over and over, and I couldn't do it. It was too boring. However, apparently there is some series of choices you can make that will lead to an Easter egg where the main protagonist guy puts a tape in his Walkman, and instead of being Thompson Twins or whatever fuck else, it's a whole bunch of static. And if you actually play that back into the ZX Spectrum, it's a game. They streamed a game over Netflix, and you can play I think it's called Nose Diver or whatever. It's kind of like you're falling down and dodging shit between buildings, and I don't know, it's pretty cool.
That's just pretty cool that the way they did it too. I mean, it could be the crappiest game on earth, but the way they did it's still pretty cool.
That is cool.
And it's still better than FX Unit Tension.
I knew you were gonna go there.
I love you, Saru.
What a high bar to clear there.
Oh my god!
Right?
It's like you're making Atari shit. Uh-oh.
Oh no!
Nerd alert!
Hey.
Speaking of shitty Atari games,
he's the shitty Tiger games guy.
Oh, dude, that's what I should do. I should write a fucking Tiger handheld. How would I even make a homebrew Tiger handheld? Is that even a thing?
That'd be kind of awesome, actually.
Yeah,
it depends on which one.
I think people might actually buy that.
We'd probably die trying to make it. You need like old man to do his fucking MacGyver garage electroplating shit again, like you did with the fucking Hue cards. Did I ever show you guys that?
Whoa!
Have you never seen that?
Your recliner looks really comfortable back there.
Oh
man.
yeah, I moved some furniture. I decided my TV belonged there, not there. So now the recliner's there too.
I like it.
Yeah, that does look like a pretty comfy ass chair.
It does. I'm just like looking at it like, oh,
you should have just done like this podcast in it. Just be like, hey guys, I'm chilling.
Check out my. This is my
Why not,
30 my 30-year-old Kmart unicorn blanket.
That's your binky. Ark has a
big dude.
Hell yeah.
This is Banky.
That actually looks like the chair I about fell asleep in Big Lots yesterday.
Yeah, buddy. What are we talking about?
We're talking about gaming.
FX Unit Yuki and how it sucks.
I hate you.
Yeah.
No, we're talking about gaming memories and stuff.
Right.
Sharing stories about certain things that we had done. If anybody wants to go next, we were just talking about we actually have been talking about Commodore and Tandy color computers so far. So, like, Ark, if you want to talk about Ultima, man, this is your time.
Oh man, we could do a whole episode on that.
Yeah, we need to. We need
to
do talk for an Ultima show because, like, if I start talking about Ultima, shit's gonna go off the rails so fast. We should just save that for a different show.
All right, fine.
Do an Ultima show.
Come here.
I mean, I can talk about one of my gaming memories, I guess.
It's Mr. Meow time.
Let's
talk about his cat.
He's trying to get up in on this. He'll probably be cranky, but
buddy. He's trying to eat you. He's like,
he's already like, fuck you.
Every time
a pussy on air. That is just classy.
Classy.
You little son of a bitch. If we're going with good memories, though, I gotta say, like, nothing beats the day I received my Henshin Engine art book. It is a day I will never forget. So thanks, sir. Thanks for making my memories, man.
I mean, I think I mentioned my day I got a PlayStation memory, but I think one of my biggest gaming memories, I guess, like whenever I think back of like, oh man, like shit I did as a kid playing games, is probably playing through like when when the first Lunar came out for PlayStation 1, like the remake. Yeah. It's like stuck in my head for two reasons. One reason being the fucking game was like 400 years late, so like there was like just so much anticipation, and it's like you can't tell a 12-year-old kid, no, that game you paid for isn't here yet, go home. And it never dawned on me as a kid to just call the game store. I kept riding my bike up there going, is it here? Is it here? Yeah. And then the funny part is when it finally came out, I rode my bike up there. I finally thought about calling. So I called. I'm like, yeah, it's here. And then I rode my bike up there. I come running in. It's the same dude at this Walden Software every time. And I come spazzing my way in, and he's like, oh, I was just fucking with you. The game's not out yet. And I was like, what? And I like started to freak out and looked like I was going to just lose my shit. He goes, no, dude, I'm just fucking with you here. And he like pulled it out, and I was like, oh. But like,
his hair gets all big.
Yeah, well, no, man, I had a bowl cut back then, and Jinko jeans.
Dude, you carry the game home in a back pocket.
Well, I did. But no, like going home and like firing that fucker up, like just playing through that, like the first Lunar, like playing through that on the PlayStation, like thinking back of like, you know, good times playing games. It's like Lunar on PlayStation. That was like one hell of a 5th grade, I guess is when I got that. Yeah, I mean that was like a super, like I mean you've played Lunar, it's Lunar, but like you know, and it took me like the whole school year through 5th and some of summer, because you know like during summer you're doing other shit too. And then like into 6th grade playing it with my friends and like just doing stuff in it and messing around and like talking about it with people, but always like going home from school and like getting through the next part of it and like fucking around in it. Like thinking back, it's like, man, that game kicked ass.
Wait, you were doing stuff in the summer other than playing video games?
Yeah, like, well, I mean, no, like when I say doing other stuff, I mean like riding my bike to my friend's house and playing like a different video game at his house.
Oh, okay.
Like you know, it's like, oh hey, I'd come over with my PlayStation and like my memory card and my Lunar, and we'd be like, let's play Street Fighter, and then we play Street Fighter instead, and like stuff like that. But like, you know, just like the PlayStation era of role-playing games, I think is like one of the biggest like things to think about. Like whenever I think about what did I do with gaming as a kid, it's like, oh man, PlayStation role-playing games.
Between that and like the Super Nintendo that it was, you know, coming right off of, those were just such a great time.
Yeah, I mean, even, you know, looking back, like right when PlayStation came out, like Beyond the Beyond was the thing, and people make fun of it, but like right when PlayStation dropped and that you played that game, it's like, you're like, just man, this PlayStation's gonna be just swarming with fucking RPGs. This is gonna be a great time. And then all my dumbass friends were like, I got N64, and I'm like, well, boy, did you fuck up. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, and it, like Beyond the Beyond might, technically suck, but it marked like it let you know, like, hey, this thing is gonna kick ass. If you like role playing games, you're all set because this one sucks, but it's only gonna get better from here. And man, did it get better! Like just
it blew up like
Right.
fast.
Right.
yeah, and like even games that like pissed me off back then, I think like Final Fantasy VIII. That game pissed me off for so many reasons, but looking back, it's like, it was
It's a terrible
still,
game.
Fuck you.
Yeah,
it's
Fuck you both.
It's
It
not
was-
good.
it was
It's
still
not-
fun to
Fuck
play
you
though.
all.
Like if you
It's
think
not
back,
good.
no man, there's so much. If you go back and think about it, there's so much funny stuff in that game. No,
It's
like in the first hour, you're watching Selfie's stupid ass fall face first onto some rocks, and then you get to play Triple Triad with that fucking sweet Jungle Jive, whatever the fuck that song called, Jungle Boogie or whatever.
Yeah.
There was like points in that game where it's like there's like good memories tied to the game,
Mm-hmm.
even though the game does suck. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, it had the unfortunate, problem of being sandwiched between two much better games.
yeah, like
Yeah.
you come
But I
off that
It was
material
the
high.
meat between the
bad.
threads,
I
dude.
Yeah, I remember 8 being
7 sucked,
8.
9 sucked.
I remember 8 being much more popular than 9 though, for some reason. Like a lot of people I knew played 8, and then when 9 came out, because it had come out at the time when the PS2 was out and Dreamcast was out, it was like, well, who's playing PlayStation 1 games still?
Yeah, see, I skipped
So-
9 also.
Yeah, see, the sucker who benefited from that was me because 9 went on clearance super, super fast.
Yeah. 8 was more popular than 9. More people have played 8, which is odd because I think 9's a much better game.
I had some memories to Final Fantasy VIII. First off, Ark, I want to say, fuck you. You were fifth grade?
I like where this
Dude.
is going.
I was graduated from high school. I'm not that old, but man, fuck you.
What did I do?
Because I'm old. You're
Oh.
young. That's it. Just by virtue of being young.
It's
fuck
just
you.
the way it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, exactly. Ark, fuck you. John is an old, late 40s looking man, and Ark, you're a beautiful young woman. I mean, it's just
I'm
the way it works.
Beautiful 14-year-old girl.
Such beautiful hair.
Final Fantasy VIII, I loved, dude. It's okay. Maybe it's just I don't know. It was one of my favorite PlayStation 1 games, aside from Lunar. I mean that was the shit. But
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed Final Fantasy VIII. However, I had just moved into my first place of my own, after graduating high school, and some friends showed up, and they fucking stayed, and it's like they ended up just squatting at my fucking house, and they played the game to completion while I was going out to work and stuff.
Oh, that sucks.
And-
I hate that shit. It's my fucking game.
Fuck them. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I've got to try to keep up with Josh's memories. It's like no collection, but some weird fucking homeless douchers played Final Fantasy VIII.
Dude, so I got one question coming out of that story. Like,
Okay.
you're talking about you like Final Fantasy VIII, you're a big
I do.
duophile guy. Do you make any good life choices?
Oh, come on. Knock it off.
I
Hey.
like,
Oh, hey.
I like 8.
Kiwi Farms link, that I think redeems me.
I'll give you that.
I didn't even post the link, but anyway.
This podcast has been brought to you by duophile.com.
Hell yeah.
14 days.
Hashtag
Man,
14 days.
You know what another good gaming memory is I just thought of? As a kid, I got to use my fact that I was a child to my supreme advantage because my mom's brother and sister were younger, and they were graduating high school and stuff when I was 5. Well, my uncle played role-playing games all the time. He had Secret of Mana. I didn't have
nice.
Secret of Mana. I'm 5. And he was playing it at my grandparents' house. He still lived there because I think he was a senior in high school. And I remember he's just sitting there with his high school friends, and I wanted the game. I'm like, I gotta play this fucking game.
This Secret of Mana arc? Are you talking about this guy?
No, I have a good copy that's like a cartridge. Like, you know. But dude, I got the collector version of that one. You get like a fucking pop-up book and little toys and stuff and a big stuffed rabbit. Yeah, it was totally worth the $90. No, I just started crying and whining like a fucking dick, and I was like literally like just bawling in my grandma's hallway until my grandma basically was like, Ralphie, let him borrow the fucking game. And so I got to borrow Secret of Mana when I was like 5, and I remember I went home and my uncle knew I wasn't like dumb and I wasn't going to delete his save. Like I knew how that shit worked, because it was funny, like before that he was playing Final Fantasy 1 and I beat the vampire for him because he was like stupid and couldn't do it, and he's like, what the fuck? But I borrowed his Secret of Mana. He was at the end of the game. So I went on his save file, and I had never played the game yet. And I just remember my first experience in Secret of Mana was, what does this do? And I hit the drum and summoned Flammy and was like flying around. That was the first thing I did in Secret of Mana, and I had never played the game before. So my intro to the game was flying around with the dragon going, what the fuck am I doing? You know, and then after 2 hours of just flying around looking at stuff and like hyperventilating, I started my own like save file. And I'm like, where the fuck? How long until I get that thing?
Where's my dragon at? What the hell?
Yeah, like, but like my first impression of the game was, what's this? And then you played a little fucking I have one. Holy shit! Hold on. Wait a sec. Oh man.
Oh my god. Wait, he is wearing pants. Weird. What?
Huh. Weird. Why do I have one of these? You know, the fucking. You play this stupid thing, and then the dragon's like, plays that sweet noise, and then you're like just up in the area. But then, the mana fortress is up there, and then you fucking accidentally get Flammy to land on it, and you don't know how to play the game yet. And the next thing you know, some fucking duck in an army helmet wastes all your fucking people, and you don't even know who they are yet either because you've never played the game before. I'm like, cool. So a girl in a cotton candy thing with shoes got killed. I feel really bad. This fucking duck with a helmet just murdered the fuck out of us on this floating thingamajig.
How are you gonna let that happen to the sprite, man?
Yeah,
the sprite.
Yeah, the Secret of Mana fucking rules. That's such a good game.
Cotton candy with shoes. That's
what it looks like. Fucking thing looks like cotton candy with fucking Crocs on.
It does look like a McDonald Land character.
Right. Yep.
That is completely accurate. Yeah, I thought that thing was a girl. It's a boy.
Really?
No, it's not. You fucking serious?
Yeah.
I was always
the same thing about Arc.
So I get for assuming the jig is up. I'm a sprite. We assumed it's fucking gender. But no, like, man, Secret of Mana. What a fucking great ride that game was.
Dude, that game, I remember that game and Super Mario RPG. Were like the two that I really, really wanted to play.
Yeah.
And some jackass stole both copies from our local video store.
No.
And I think they got so sick of me calling up there like, you have this yet? The guy was like, no, it's stolen. It's not coming back.
Oh, so they stole it that way. See, I went to rent on regular Nintendo. I went to rent Dragon Quest IV, and some fucktard, they did the thing where you open the cartridge and then you put a copy of Duck Hunt in the fucking cartridge and return it.
Oh, yeah.
So I rented Dragon Quest IV and I put it in. It's like Duck Hunt, and I'm like,
oh no.
And I go back and they're like, oh, what the fuck, not again. Like, this happened often. That happened my NES Open I rented there. Like 5 games I rented where like people just put Mario 1 or like fucking Duck Hunt, or the one time. What other game was it? Like Clue Land? Like you get like the begin like Excite Bike. You get shit like that, and like your copy of like a real game is just like, nah, fuck you.
I'm not hating on NES Open because I actually really like that game.
It's great. It just sucks when you go to rent.
You assume it's one game and you get something else.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, why are you going to all this effort to steal NES Open?
I mean, I guess if you like shooting golf balls more than ducks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Golf 1 on a Nintendo is so bad.
Oh man, yeah, golf sucks. I would dump that in there in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I just remember like you got that angry fucking Mario looking douche on the label.
Fat guy on the cover, like.
Yeah, and like I remember as a kid we had it. I didn't really understand how to play it because it was like confusing, and I didn't know what like OB meant. I just knew that OB was bad. because it made a bad sound, and then the ball went back where it started. And I'm like, okay, I don't want any of these obs. I don't know what they are. Ob is bad.
Not another ob. All right, Saru, do you have a funny or sad or moving story to share with us?
I'm trying to think of like one specific story. So I have one that's kind of bittersweet because it involves the TurboGrafx and the Turbo Duo. And for the first maybe year and a half, I was the only one who had a TurboGrafx system of any kind. And I tried to talk to people about it, and they were like, you know, so far up their own asses with the Genesis or whatever. And so I was like all by myself. You know, I was the Turbo kid in school, and everyone's like, "Oh, they're like, oh, you're poor. You have a TurboGrafx 16," because I bought it for like $60.
Sure.
You know, to place you. So, two of my closest friends, like when I got the CD system, I showed them East for the first time, and it like blew their minds, right? So they made it like their quest to get the Turbo Duo, which obviously I didn't have. I only had the CD system. I didn't even have the Super CD card at the time. It hadn't even been out yet, or it had just come out and I didn't have it. I don't know. I was poor. I didn't have it. So my friends both bought Turbo Duos within a week of each other. And I remember they were both named William. One was Wilfredo, one was William, but they were both Will. And so the Wills got together and were like, let's play, you know, let's do a whole like Turbo Duo game night, you know, sleepover thing. And so they both, you know, have their duos at my friend Will number one at his house, you know, and they're both going and they're both talking at the time. Right before that, I had bought Valis 3 and they had the duos, you know, they got their Turbo Zone Direct duos with Gate of Thunder, and they're like just playing the game, right? They're each on their duos. They're like, oh, this sounds so badass. And look at the city, it looks so real, unlike Valis 3. And they're both like, oh, you have a TurboGrafx CD. And it was bittersweet because I was like, yes, I finally have friends who have, you know, this system with me. But at the same time, they got into the Super CD stuff before I was able to get my stuff from Turbo Zone Direct. So in a way, it was bittersweet because it was cool that I had friends that now shared this passion with me. But shitty because they were making fun of me at the same time for it. So, but I mean, I would say it was a good memory overall still.
Look at this! Look at this loser over here with this huge.
I know. Look at you with this fucking typewriter, because I used to take that everywhere, and it was in the case. And my friends' moms would always be like, "Oh, did you bring your typewriter?" I'm like, "No, it's a fucking game system." So yeah, but it was, like I said, it was bittersweet. So overall, it was a good.
Dude, I'm surprised we didn't have anybody around that I knew that actually owned a TurboGrafx or Turbo Duo or anything.
Yep.
You know, I mean, it was.
You guys heard the story about J-Lude or King Drool, right? I don't know if that's common knowledge or not, but he and I both had TurboGrafx in the same town. We didn't even know.
Town, and he sniped your game or something like that, right?
Yeah, they were buying games from the same store, I think.
Yeah, well, there's one rental place that had like 8 games, and they were the only place in the area that had any TurboGrafx stuff. And I got into the Turbo, and he got into the Turbo. And he got into it before I did, though. He got into it originally, like when it was before even the Duo had come out. He had a TurboGrafx. I didn't get it until the Duo came out. But yeah, super funny. Like, and when you're saying there's nobody around that had Turbo, it was like me and like all the Super Nintendo and Genesis nerds. And that's I had, you know, I tried to like get people interested in like, oh, there's a Dungeon Explorer 2. They're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
see, I never tried. But these two friends just happen to be close friends, and they happened to come over when I was playing East, and they had never seen CD system, like, you know, cinematics and music. They were used to, they both had Genesis systems at the time, so they were both blown away by it.
That's crazy. That's hilarious. I have a story about Dungeon Master 2 on the Sega CD. I liked the Dungeon Master game on PC. When it started coming out for consoles, the Super Nintendo got a copy, and obviously we had Theron's Quest on PC Engine or Turbo Duo. So when me and my friend Matt, we'd seen that Dungeon Master 2 was at a video rental store, the same one that John and I used to fight over turbo games at. I was like, holy shit, this is, oh my God, a new Dungeon Master game. This is like an official sequel. Because I thought Theron's Quest was a sequel at one point, but it really isn't. It's kind of just a reversioning of the same one that came out on the Super Nintendo or the PC. So as we went to the video store, we rented it, and we were walking out, maybe about a block from the rental store. Me and my friend are walking on the sidewalk, and this dog comes barreling out across this person's yard, and it's just running right at us. It's a little nothing intimidating. It just comes right at us. And the guy is like, there's like a cookout. There's like 10 people sitting on picnic benches or whatever, and they're grilling out or whatever. And the guy yells, he's like, "Don't worry, he won't bite." And the fucking dog dives at my friend Matt's leg and bites him right in the ankle, drawing blood.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's freaking out. He's like, "Oh my God." And so then the guy comes running over and he's like, I don't know. And then they take their dog away. And then me and Matt go. It was only like a 4 or 5 block walk back to his house, but we walked back to his house, showed his parents. His parents are like, "Oh my God, we got to take you to the hospital." And then they call the police because the guy's dog and, whatever else. It was kind of going crazy. And it was really shitty and a really awful moment. But the only thing I could think about was, I don't have a Sega CD. Matt does. And we just rented this game. So
are we playing this or what?
I might. And they went to the hospital. He stayed for a little while. They cleaned it up and everything's fine. And then he came back, and I remember calling him and saying, like, can I come back over and play Dungeon Master? And he was like, "No, my mom's making me stay in bed all day and no friends over for the rest of the weekend." I was like, fuck.
Weak.
So funny.
And that's the day Josh started kicking dogs.
That's the day I started kicking dogs.
Yeah, I would have punched that little shit.
Yeah,
man, you know what really sucks is that you were trying to play Dungeon Master 2 on the Sega CD.
I know.
Really sorry for that.
I have it now. It's not very good.
At least it wasn't like Eternal Champions or something.
Hey, right? Fuck off. That game's sweet.
On the Sega CD, yeah. I like that one.
But no, I had Dungeon Master 2 for the PC. So like we had this fucking crazy Eternal Champions is fucking sweet. We had this crazy thing for Dungeon Master 2. It's called a mouse. Where you can move the fucking arrow around. Do you ever play Eye of the Beholder on Sega CD? It's like pulling fucking teeth trying to play that game.
Yeah.
Like it's got great music, but then you're like, this interface sucks. It's so bad. It's like playing Theron's Quest.
I actually like the way Theron's Quest works. I like hold the button down, like you hold down 2 and then you can move in any direction, then you can like let go of it, and then you can move the cursor around. I like that. I thought it worked really well, actually.
It works, but like, man, when you have a mouse, fuck that shit.
Oh yeah, true.
Like,
sure.
Did you ever play the actual like abortion that was StarCraft 64?
My friend did, and then he finally realized why I told him N64 is stupid.
We had rented that game because it was like, me and my buddy both really liked StarCraft on the PC, and it was like, okay, well, we'll try it on this thing. Real-time strategy games are not meant for a fucking analog joystick.
I mean, nothing's really made for the N64 in general, so
Drink. What's going on?
Fuck. I remember trying to play Isles of Terror on the Turbo CD after already having played it on the Amiga, and I wanted to blow my brains out because it's the same problem. Like trying to play a mouse-driven game with a D-pad and like 2 buttons. It's not ideal. I don't recommend it. Or it goes so far back. Did you play Pool of Radiance on the NES?
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah, well, you should play it on a fucking computer where you can attack diagonally, because the fucking Nintendo one, you're so screwed half the time. It's like, man, I really wish I could hit that fucking orc that's, right there, but I can't. Like, maybe if I just hit the buttons just right. Nope, then you hit your own fucking party mate and kill him.
Cool.
Like, you can't, not being able to swing diagonally ruined that game on the Nintendo. And it sucked because I remember playing that as a kid. I rented that one after I had the Commodore one. And I was like, oh, the Nintendo one. Maybe it'll be better because I'm stupid and Nintendo's somehow better because Nintendo. And at first it seems accurate because there's music and like cooler character portraits and stuff. And then you can't attack diagonally and the game sucks. It's a fucking disaster. Did you ever beat Pool of Radiance, Josh?
No, I never did. I think I beat Pool. Wait, you said Pool Radio? I beat Curse of the Urzubans, or
that game's so good. We're running that D&D adventure right now. They made D&D adventure books for Pool of Radiance and Azure Bonds.
Nice.
We did Pool of Radiance. We're doing Azure Bonds now, dude. First fucking encounter, the tattoo made the dumbass fighter that we play with. He attacked the cleric trying to remove the tattoos from him. And it's the first combat roll of the adventure. He rolls a 20 and severs the cleric's fucking arm. They're like, "Oh Jesus, run!" And they all just bail.
Jesus, Mary, Joseph. I have read the Pool of Radiance book series though. All three of them.
Oh, so good. That's my favorite book.
I know it is. It's awesome. I like it a lot. Actually, like get queasy whenever the big giant frog fight that they have in that enclosed area. Like, 'cause I hate frogs. I have a phobia of frogs. Reading it actually makes me queasy. It's hilarious.
Keep talking. I gotta. Speaking of Azure Bonds, I gotta get something cool to show you. Hold on.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Keep talking. Connor, Jesus, Connor, do you want to share a story of some sort with us?
Colin,
I guess, huh?
Colin.
Sorry, Twex.
Honestly, that's up there. One of the guys at the teachers at school used to call me Kyle.
Ooh.
So, and I was just like, I don't care.
I promise I will never call you that again, Conolingus.
I like that.
You're welcome.
Let's make that a thing.
Well, if you don't care what anyone's calling you, I'm calling you Colin. Deal with that.
Okay.
Check this out.
I feel like I'm dealing with it all right.
So, my buddy that does like miniature painting, that's like his thing. He had the Azure Bond. He has a bunch of the D&D figures. This is Alias.
Nice.
I probably can't tell on the camera, but he painted the Azure Bonds on her arm.
Yeah, it's yeah, that's pretty cool.
And then you get Dragon Bait too.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah, like hell yeah. Just thought I'd go get those because it's awesome. But you can't tell his painting is like obnoxious because he's been doing it forever. He charges people to paint like minis and stuff.
No, that's cool.
Like, dude, I mean, if you're good at it though, that was the one part I sucked at.
I hated
together, but I couldn't fucking paint them.
Yeah, like
I'm pretty bad too, but I give it an honest effort and I do okay.
Yeah, I just have him do it because he can do it quicker than me and it looks better.
I did a magical chase miniature. Actually, I found a mini of a girl on a broom and I made her into as close as possible to magical chase as I could. You want to see it?
Oh yeah.
I do want to see this.
Go get that shit.
Well, he's getting that. I've got to show off something as well. I've got 2 copies of the same game by the best company ever. And I don't even have a PS3. I just love that company so much.
I know.
Go out and support them.
I have so many Exceed games.
Oh, Nullity. It sounds like you've really got an axe to grind. Okay, so this is my magical chase.
Ah, that's cute.
Oh, that's pretty cool, dude.
It's like, I think it's from a like a board game or tabletop adventure called Super Dungeon Explorer.
Yeah. No, that was actually made to parody the magical chase thing. They made a bunch of video game. There's a Castlevania expansion and stuff. I used to play that with the guy that paints all this stuff. He painted that too. That was purposely made to look like magical chase.
No way. That's super cool. Oh, that's what I did. Then
there's a bunch of parodied video game stuff. So that's cool, actually, man. That's basically the closest you're ever going to get to an actual magical chase figure.
Pretty good paint job too.
Yeah, it's all right. It's starting to chip a little.
It's okay, I guess.
It's all right. You know, I'm around it. Whatever. I just do things.
Wow. Wow. If you saw it in person up close, you'd be like, oh, okay, maybe it's.
Oh, yeah.
All right, John, I want to hear another story, you fucker.
Oh, shit. Let me think.
Okay.
Tell us about your Exceed memories.
What's your favorite Exceed game?
All of them. But, you know, I'm pretty sure, what was it? The Oath and Felgana translation was...
That's my favorite.
Far and away the best.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing that they had the talent to extract that script all by themselves.
Without any help.
So Cosmic Fantasy 2, that Babette shower scene, did anyone else define their childhood by that?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's like going back to, other working designs things. Fucking Lunar, you went and got all the bromides, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, except for that one on Lunar 2 when you get fucking Borgans where it's that fat fucker in the fucking bathtub. No thanks. Yeah. But yeah, those bromides were fucking cool. I don't know if you can see, I have all of them on stickers on, it's behind another poster. The strategy, I came with stickers of all the bromides and I stuck them on a piece of poster board and put it on the wall. And then I was like, man, I'm a retard. I should have left those stickers on the sticker sheet in the strategy guide. Instead, I'm dumb. But yeah, those bromides, man, they need to do shit like that in games again.
Absolutely.
Totally derail your adventure to save the world so you can go find pictures of the chicks in your party with their clothes off.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like Shenmue a little.
We should have game hugger bromides.
Ooh.
Like,
At one point, Josh did promise to broadcast shirtless and never.
Yeah,
Really?
there's people talking. Oh yeah, no.
What?
We weren't.
Yours was the bath.
Where was I?
Yours was the bath.
It was the bathrobe. We were gonna do a bathrobe episode where we're all in bathrobes, which would be fun, or like nighties or some pajama party. Let's do that.
Pajama.
Nah, man. How about we have a singlet party?
Dude,
I've got two.
all I'm saying is I
What?
sleep. I sleep in the buff, so I'm down for this pajama party.
Sorry, you knew that I have some singlets.
Yeah, singlets sounds like a good time.
2?
Yeah, well, I did wrestling for like 6 years, dude.
Oh, did you?
I
Really? I did not
thought
know
that was just like a fetish thing. I didn't know you actually did wrestling.
Well, the wrestling was probably the fetish.
Ah,
A little bit.
That's probably what kept him in it for 6 years.
Yeah, oily, sweaty man. No, I decided instead of, when my parents were like, yep, here's your money for college and stuff. And I'm like, cool. So I gave it to some like homeless guy who taught me how to wrestle for 16 weeks. And then I decided with my friends to tour the indie scene of central Wisconsin. And then that was fun. It was a blast.
cool.
So yeah, I've got wrestling gear.
Sounds like all sorts of story time.
Oh yeah, that could, Jesus. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, but there was one time I went on a 16-mile round trip bike ride to pick up a copy of Contra from my parents. I used to spend summers, well, me and my nephew, who was my same age as me, he would spend half the summer with me up in central Wisconsin, and I'd spend half the summer down by him in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And when my parents sent me up to Green Bay, they gave me $30 to live on for like 3 weeks. And one of this is back in the 60s when I was a kid. No, I'm kidding. But when one of his buddies were talking about like games or something, it's like, man, I really wish I could just sell some games, get some money. And I was like, I've got $30. And he's like, I just got this copy of Contra. And I was like, shit, yeah, I want it. Like, I'll buy it. And he's like, so then we figured out how far of a bike ride it was, and we left at like, I don't remember what time it was, but we left super early in the morning, went for a bike ride. It's like 8.5 miles, and which doesn't sound bad at all now. Not even a thing. I mean, you could do a 16-mile bike ride in a day easy. But when I was I don't know how old I was. I was probably 10 or 11 or something. But man, that felt like the worst, awfulest. It was so hot. It felt like I was in a desert, just like dying on that bike. But man, when I got back with Contra,
it was a copy of Duck Hunt.
It was it was legit a copy of Contra. It was awesome. It was before, it's so weird. Like you were talking about that story. I actually just like 3 or 4 years ago, I bought a copy of Shinobi 3 from a game shop. And when I brought it home and played it, it was Jurassic Park. Someone switched out the chipset for Shinobi 3.
Nice,
Sad.
man. Jurassic
Sad.
Park, sweet.
Well, I didn't have a copy of Jurassic Park, so I have one now, and I wound up
sell
getting
it as a rare prototype misprint of Shinobi.
Yeah.
Here.
Some fucktard will buy it. Man,
Put
you know what?
Put it in a case, like one of those plastic cases, though, or whatever. And that's guaranteed money.
Yeah. You know what's a good game memory I just thought of going back to PlayStation stuff? So when I got PlayStation, like as a kid, I was using this like fucking doofy ass like clicker knob fucking TV, like the old UHF ones.
Yep.
And that was what I had all my shit hooked up to. And I had the PlayStation hooked up over RF. like just that's just how life worked back then. And I remember the day I got a different TV and set everything up, and then I had everything. I was like, oh, I have this red and white cable. I'll put them into the stereo that I also. My parents got a new stereo, so I took the old stereo and put it in my room, and I plugged the fucking things in, and then I beat a battle in Final Fantasy VII, and when nothing was really dawning on me yet, but then I beat the battle in Final Fantasy VII, and when it goes to the screen where it shows like your experience being awarded, it's got like the screen with the portraits and stuff like that. I heard the other channel of the audio for the first time, and I just dropped the controller and went, "What? Like, what else have I been missing in this game?" Like, it's like all it is like little like synth trumpet noises going like, and I'm like, "What is that?" Like, there's more to all these songs.
What's
so I was
happening?
like, "Yeah," like my mind was
dual channel audio.
Like, I mean, when I was in like 4th grade, I like that concept hadn't really dawned on me yet. So then I was like, well, wait, what else have I been missing?
Yep.
And then like I, went back and played Lunar on Sega CD and put the Sega CD audio out and went, oh my God, I'm an idiot. There's more than just the one thing, because I was just using RF. Like we're talking. I had Nintendo, Sega, Master System, TurboGrafx, PlayStation, Saturn, and Dreamcast on this like fucking RF chain. Basically, it was like the dipshit Olympics there with my shit. Like
That's
it was just this long cable coming out the back of my TV, and like you had to like sometimes go over and like kick at it to get the static to go away because there was just so much bullshit going on, and it was like, oh my God, like
that's so
epic.
epic.
I was playing Dreamcast with an RF adapter, like.
Oh man.
Like I guess like I was in 6th grade when I got like my parents' stereo and an actual TV that didn't have like fucking clicker knobs, and it was like, wow, listen to all this crap going on this machine that I did not know about. Greatest shit ever, man.
Turbo was the last system I played RF.
Probably, what? I think mine was Genesis because we had the Model 1, and I think it only shipped with an RF adapter in the States.
Yep.
Yeah,
that is true. Yeah,
I mean that's what cracks me up with these fucking PP touchers with their fucking PBM crap.
PP toucher.
If it's not a broadcast grade PBM with this RGB fidelity and 7,000 lines, I just can't play it. It's like, dude, I was playing fucking Link to the Past on a black and white fucking TV. I still have it's this Sears black and white fucking piece of shit.
Dude, we had the one with it actually had 2 knobs.
Yeah, and like the rabbit ear like goofy loop antenna.
One was for like it had 1 or 0 through 9, and the other was for the tens place.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is the shittiest fucking television.
We had like it was like the screw box thing went onto the UHF screws, and it made it a coaxial thing, so you could screw the RF on.
Yep.
That's how I had to play.
We had because we had the 2600 hooked up to that, and it had the little 2-prong adapter for the UHF.
Yeah. Well, that's like how who all felt like rocket scientists, and you're like, it's computer time, and you slide that thing up on the box on the back of the TV, and it's like
it's like computer time.
It's like when Voltron's like, I'll form the head, and then Voltron happens. It's like the same feeling. You're just like, yes, and you just slide that thing up. And it's like, this is so stupid. Like,
that's awesome. I think I had RF all the way from Tandy
last week.
NES, pretty much NES, and then Super Nintendo. I used the same one as I used for the NES. And when I got the Duo, I had the AVs, and I was like, oh shit, what do I do with this? Because I don't have a TV that.
Where do these colored things go?
So I had a VCR.
I remember that shit.
Hooked up to my TV. So, but the VCR only had one audio port and one video. So I had to choose which one. And it was like always mono. And then I remember doing the same thing when I finally got a TV that had all 3, and I was like playing Lords of Thunder, and it's like, oh shit. Like, oh my God.
Yeah. You have that moment where you hear the other half of all of the soundtrack. You're like, whoa.
What the fuck?
Thinking back, I think with the PlayStation, even on that stupid TV, I actually had the VCR going into all the RF shit went into the VCR out into the TV, and I think the PlayStation might have been yellow and white into the VCR. Well, like everything was just barfed into the fucking VCR out into the TV. It was such a fucking disaster.
Did you record any of your gameplay, like on VCR tapes?
No, see, I was a weird kid. I never
did
took
too.
pictures or filmed anything. My friends were like, dude, where's all your pictures when you were a kid? I'm like, I don't know.
Dude, I was that idiot that like tried to take a picture straight out of the TV.
You get the big black bar.
You get that big bar right through the middle of it. But because I was so happy when I finally finished Super Mario RPG, and it's like everything important has this fucking big black bar through it.
I spliced together a music video for the PC Engine using a VCR because at the time, so the way I had to play the Turbo is I had the RCA cables coming out of the TurboGrafx CD, and they had to go into the VCR, and then the VCR went out into the TV to a little like screwy coax thing that went out to VHF. And that's how I played systems that connected with the RCA jacks to the VCR. So I made a music video of Tokimeki Memorial because the demo didn't have any vocals for Tokimeki Memorial. It was just like the background music and like the cinematics. So I took a music CD and I spliced in the audio using just, the RCA jacks from the CD player to the VCR with just the video going into the VCR. And I used the music CD from this Super Famicom Magazine CD that has a track down at the bottom here for Tokimeki Memorial in that length because it's from the actual like PC Engine intro. And so I made like my own intro. And then later on the game came out and the fucking song is in it. But, it was cool at the time because I didn't have the game. So I tried to do all kinds of neat things using the VCR. But I made videos all the time with the VCR and the
Do you still have any of them?
No, I don't have.
I used to record like game endings and stuff whenever I get to a boss and like hit record on it. I had so many tapes. I think I had like 20, 30 different VCR tapes, and I don't know where they all went. I
had a friend like that. He was putting them on YouTube, and he had some of like beating like China Warrior and stuff.
That's so cool.
But I have to point out, like, you can tell, we're all like from the good times because there are people calling VCRs VHS players right now. And I'm like, what the fuck is a VHS player? Like, it's a VCR. And they're like, no, it plays VHS. I'm like, it's a VCR. Like, it's not a VHS player, you dickhead.
If you never had to struggle to program that stupid fucking thing to record a show later and have it cut off halfway in the middle, it's like,
oh my God, yeah.
I never bothered. If I ever wanted to record, I had to make sure I was sitting in front of
it. Yeah, and it's like, well, great. Now this defeats the purpose,
I
always can rewatch it later.
Yeah. I used to do that to record. I always had the VCR set to. It was weird because we had two VCRs. One was my mom's was set up to record her fucking soap operas during the day because she was at work, and like the other one was like I had it set for Toonami just in case I was dicking off and not at home when Toonami came on because I had to watch Sailor Moon or like Life as We Know It would end. And I always had it set where it would roll further than like the half-hour allotment it was supposed to, just in case. But then like the one time, I don't remember what I fucking did, but it like started at like 9 a.m. and it just recorded like from 9 a.m. until like whenever. So just like bullshit Cartoon Network crap that was going on during the day. And I got home and it was one day where I like didn't go home right away, and I got home at like 4:45 and Sailor Moon like just ended, and I went and like rewound the tape, and then I hit play and I'm like, what is this? What the fuck? Like, where's my shit? And I just remember I took the fucking tape and just cracked it over my knee and like threw it at the wall. And I was like, what the fuck? But then it was an episode I already saw, so
I did my Sailor Moon.
Yeah, I mean I'd already seen them. I was just like I hated missing an episode because it was like then you watch the next one, you're like, but I didn't watch the one before it. Even though I already saw it and I know what happened.
Well, I think the worst was those Dragon Ball Z ones where they'd come out with new episodes like 12 at a time and then completely replay the season from like the very beginning up to that point.
Dragon Ball Z like gave me anxiety as a kid because it was on Toonami and it's like the 20-minute episode is fucktard just screaming with his shirt off. The next time on Dragon Ball Z, Goku's probably gonna do something, and then you go to school the next day, you're doing this because you want the day to end to see what Goku's gonna do, and then you get home and it's the same fucking shit. Nothing happens. Like that's why Sailor Moon, it's an episode like start to finish, a thing takes place. It's not just for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Sailor Moon was aired incorrectly here.
Huh?
Sailor Moon was aired incorrectly in America when it first debuted. They started with Sailor Moon R for whatever reason. The very first time Sailor Moon ever debuted with the first week of Sailor Moon R. And
on WB at like 7 in the morning?
Or whatever, on UPN, where it originally aired, it aired with Sailor Moon R.
Oh, because
for whatever reason.
The first time it aired was in Canada. It didn't even come out here first. Then it like fucking sucked there. Then they had to do a petition. Do you remember the Save Our Sailors like petition movement that happened back then?
No.
There was like petitions to make sure they put the show back on the air. Like,
I don't remember that. I just remember them premiering it for the very first time on UPN, and it was a whole other show completely. Like, what the fuck is going on here? This isn't even the beginning of the show.
See, I don't remember. I remember when it was on WB and you had to get up at like 6 in the morning, and it's like, why am I up right now?
Dude, if you're up that early and you're not watching Heathcliff,
yeah,
fuck that.
And what's funny though is like, you know,
Heathcliff.
Dude, Heathcliff was awesome. He had that banger theme song too.
Yeah, weren't we just talking about that in the chat like a week ago about how Heathcliff's fucking theme song kicked ass?
Yep,
it did. It was one of those singles.
Yeah,
you got a single of it on cassette tape.
That's another funny gaming memory. Speaking of anime, man, I remember my friend. We got the whole the Ranma VHS shit, like the whole first season. It was like 32 videotapes and took up like the whole fucking house.
Yep.
But when you were watching, at first it showed like the Meizan Nikoku, like fucking like little stupid blipper. But then in the middle of some of the episodes, it's like, holy shit, buy the Ranma 1/2 hard battle motherfucking Super Nintendo game.
Oh, yeah,
like,
I remember those ads. I was like, what the fuck? Why are they advertising this stupid
I
shit?
remember, dude, I had a fucking stroke. And I remember I like scoured all the video game exchanges around here and found a copy for $5. And that game sucked so bad.
You know, I liked the game. I hated the fact that they changed stuff with it because I owned the Super Famicom one. And then my friend she was like a super Ranma fan too. She bought the US release and she was like, oh, let's play it together. And they fucked like all their voices for whatever reason. They decided they would change all the voices. But the game itself is all right.
But like when you're already playing like, you know, Street Fighter Super 9000, the new Challengers Plus X Alpha Turbo Edition or whatever, it's like, man, this game's dopey.
Yeah,
like,
well, I mean, like,
did you ever
when it came out, there wasn't too many options. When that Ranma game first came out, there was Street Fighter 2, you know? Which, it was infinitely better, but if you compared it to what was around at the time,
like, see, I got it.
Hey, there was that really trash Yu Yu Hakusho 3-game series on the Super Famicom.
Yeah, and at the time,
it was awful.
Yu Yu Hakusho 2 was out at that time. It was the Ranma 1/2 second game, which came out here as the first game. Then there was the Yu Yu Hakusho 2, Fist of the North Star 6, and Street Fighter 2. Those were like your fighting game choices back in the Super Nintendo, Super Famicom era in the beginning. So by those standards, it wasn't really that bad. It was pretty good.
I do like, though, using like Ukyo and just smacking the fuck out of people with the Okonomiyaki flipper thing.
Yeah, she was badass. I loved her.
Yeah,
you can talk about your Ranmas and your other games like that, but
Josh
really,
is like, fuck your Ranmas.
Yeah, no, really, the best fighting game before Street Fighter 2 was Power Moves.
I thought you were gonna bring up Clay Fighter.
You Power Moves is not bad, actually.
Power Moves is not bad.
I liked it.
It's actually fine.
I actually
as long as it's not like Urban Champion.
I just remember, man, Clay. Did you guys like Clay Fighter?
The 64 one I thought was hilarious, but the Super Nintendo one, no, I didn't like it.
You didn't like playing as Taffy? Like Taffy, and then he comes doing
Taffy. Bad Mr. Frosty versus Bad Mr. Frosty.
The best part was when they made it the 64, and they're like, you know what? None of these characters are any good. Put fucking Earthworm Jim in it.
Well, and then there was, remember, Balls?
Yeah,
oh my
Balls.
God. You know, Arkin, actually, the first Ranma game did come out in America, but they had reskinned it and called it something. They called it Street Combat.
That's right. It was so bad.
I remember that came up on one of the forums. I remember what one, because Nightwolf killed it, but
and that was actually, you know, the first Ranma game, but you know,
I remember that. Yeah, I remember talking about that.
So shitty, like the way they changed it, and like both characters, like they turned Ranma into like two characters, both named Steven.
They were so
but it was
bad.
like one smaller Steven and one larger Steven, and it's like, what? This is so fucking
This is
stupid.
prepubescent Steven. He's a grown up now.
But the costumes and the colors were so horrible.
Bad,
They looked as bad as you could imagine.
Like they turned like Kodachi into like a black clown who like
Yep.
juggled like bowling pins.
Well,
what is happening here?
I remember the first import like Super Nintendo shit I bought was the Sailor Moon fighting games and role playing game, and those Sailor Moon fighting games are not bad. Like
I like it.
They're really not.
Super S is really good, actually.
I remember at one of the CCAGs, like there's all those dinglings that have like just the like table of imports. They don't know what any of it is. Like there's like
that's
everything.
like every con ever.
Yeah, but like some dude was like Sailor Moon, that's fucking gay. I'm like, that game's actually really good. And then like
I got made fun of so hardcore when Sailor Moon came out in America on TV because I used to collect like all the OVA books, you know?
Yeah.
And I used to talk about it all the time. And then they showed it on TV here, and they're like, "You like Sailor Moon? You're a fag," you know? Like, straight up.
I know how that goes because that's
kids were cruel, you know, back then.
Sorry to feel any better, dude. We still make fun of you.
Well, what's funny is like I joke, I got all the backlash of being gay with none of the perks of being gay as a kid because I wasn't actually gay. But like they were like, you're a fag, you like Sailor Moon, and like there was one day I showed up to school, it was like 4th grade with a Sailor Moon t-shirt on. Kid goes, you like Sailor Moon? Sailor Moon's for girls. You're a fag. He takes a pen, explodes it on my shirt, and then just punches me in the face. And I hadn't even entered the school building yet. I'm like, I am done with today. I'm gonna go home now.
Yeah, just start over at that point. Like, you know what? We'll try it again tomorrow.
8:45 in the morning. I'm covered in blue ink. My shirt's ruined. I got hit in the face and thrown down a fucking hill. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go home now. I remember I walked all the way home because it was like the house is like a 10-minute walk from school. I get home, my dad's like, what the fuck are you doing home? What happened to your shirt? It's like, I explained the whole thing to him. He's like, oh, okay. And like he went into school. I don't know what the fuck he said, but some shit went down. And then he comes out and he goes, "We going to McDonald's?" And it's like, yep. Like, so we just went to McDonald's, and it was like a normal day. But yeah, like I always got picked on for Sailor Moon, and their argument was always, "You're a fag. Sailor Moon's girls." I'm like, but you're watching Dragon Ball Z with dudes with their shirts off, screaming and yelling. Sailor Moon's got a bunch of girls in short skirts flailing around doing cool shit. Why am I gay?
The thing is, like, they also like censored so much of it here that like they didn't see like, you know, them, you know, killing things and then dying. Like they all die at the end.
Oh yeah, they didn't even get that far into the series.
And they cut it all out. Like at the end, they're like, "Oh, this happened," and now everyone's gone.
Well, didn't they actually cut characters out of it because we couldn't have like lesbian characters?
No, they made them cousins because incest is better than lesbians.
That was it.
They made them super close cousins, and they turned Nephlite into a man.
They turned Zoisite into a dude.
Zoisite into a dude. Sorry.
All right. Fuck. All right. Nully, you haven't said anything in like 25 minutes.
Sailor Moon.
It's like Sailor Moon, transsexual.
What's funny about the transsexuals is they were all girls in the comic, but they're actually aliens. So they made themselves look like guys in the anime, but then they turn back into girls when they transform.
They're actually hermaphrodites.
Hemaphrodites.
Yeah.
Well, they're aliens. They just change their form. Like they're from Earth. They're, you know, it's all fucked up. But at least, with Sailor Moon, I get why back then they censored the gay stuff because like that was not a good time to be gay. Yeah. So like that would have just
it's much better now, you know.
Well, no, it's not
2016. It's been great again.
No, I mean it was, it's still fucked up. But like, had they left all that stuff in, that show would have probably died in Canada before it even ever made it to the States. It probably would not have gotten traction because they had to do a petition just to get it back in the first place. Had they had all those controversies to also deal with, the show would have just been fucking demolished before it went anywhere. We would have not known what the hell it was for a while.
See, maybe though, in an alternate universe where that show gets canceled and we get something better like Ghost Sweeper Mikami, I'd be okay with that.
Don't talk shit about Sailor Moon. Yeah, I have the game. The game's cool.
The game's
Super Mikami. I love Ghost Super Mikami.
The Super Nintendo game is actually really good. I like it.
No, I got the PC Engine one.
Oh, you got the
4.
Oh
Yeah.
god.
The
I
PC
bought
Engine game is really, really good. Like you just have to like sit down and like play it, but
that's how most games work. You sit down and play them.
Yeah,
I know. But like a lot of people are like immediately scared off of Ghost Super Mikami because it's like super Japanese. But once you get like a hang of the card battle system, like it actually starts to become fun. And like the choices in the actual game kind of become obvious with like, and if they're not obvious, you just fucking fiddle around until you get past it. But it's a good game. I like it.
That game, it looks great too. It's like super crisp, little jiggly portraits and stuff. A lot of the PC Engine games are like that.
Honestly, and a lot of those old like anime style games aged really well because that time was, you know, it was good for animating that stuff into the games. It's, you know,
well, yeah, and like the anime back then itself, like they didn't use a lot of color to shade like Sailor Moon on the cartoon. So it like translates fine to the games and stuff, but now everything's like fucking stupid cel-shaded nonsense. Like the translation sucks now going between like, well, kind of like video games are, everything's stupid now. Fuck everything.
Everything sucks.
A lot of anime nowadays is really generic, I find.
Well, I went and saw the Gundam narrative movie because they put it in the theater here the other day. Like, it's like, man, check out the fucking CGI, I guess. All right. Like, this is dumb. Like, and then they kept doing flashbacks of like the old Gundams back when it looked good. And it's like, can you just have drawn the whole thing like that? Maybe like that would have been good. Like,
well, what about all those stupid things where they were like, let's make everything live action?
Well, that was never a good idea.
Yeah,
I watched the Sailor Moon live action.
Yeah, well, I mean that's a good idea because they're all kind of hot. So you know,
I suffered through the Hong Kong version of Initial D. That like that is oh my god, that's terrible.
Is it?
Oh, dude, never watch it. Never watch it.
Well, now I'm gonna. Let's see. I had to look for something.
You had him at the D.
When your soul dies in like 10 minutes in, I really want to. I want to see that.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up.
It's
make a little
horrifically bad.
Myself.
All right, so we're at the last few moments here of our podcast. Of our lives. This is pretty much it right here. We're all going to die of malaria in just a few moments. So I'd like Nully to start us off with the last words on what we'd like to talk about here as we go into the exit of the podcast. But before he does,
go into your exit.
I'm gonna enter me gently.
Exit only.
Enter me gently into your raffle. So just before he does give us that moment of zen, I just want to mention too, thank you guys for listening. Thank you, 4 of you cucks out there, for listening and being a part of it. Thanks Colin and Jim and Sammy and Aaron. Thanks you guys for being a part of it. We had a good panel this week.
There's people watching it.
It was a good conversation. There's actually, we maxed out at 11 watchers. So I mean, I'm assuming it's because there's no Dragon Master Dan. So
9 of the viewers are just Nightwolf on alt accounts.
But you can always check us out.
At least half of them tuning in and like, where's the fucking puns?
Facebook.com/gamehuggers. You just do a search for gamehuggers. You can always follow me on Twitter as well at _Joshua Turbo. Don't forget the underscore, as it is the most important underscore in all the internet. I'm actually on other podcasts too, by the way. So if you're interested in following me on other avenues other than video gaming, I'm also on the SmackDown Rebound podcast where we talk about stupid pro wrestling. And new as of next week, I'm on a new actual sort of career path for data developers. Podcast called The Data Swamp starting next week. So that's
I'm going to get on that and get your career fucking ruined. Thanks for the heads up.
Yeah, man, let's swap some datas.
Anyway.
Dude, I just noticed I have this like cheap Chun-Li that came out of like a quarter little capsule machine. It basically just looks like Street Fighter on the Commodore 64.
The hell is that, albino Chun-Li?
It's just her outfit. Her
that like
the T-Pow is
like
painted.
Muscle.
No,
it came
out. It came out of like one of those quarter machines at the drugstore when I was a kid.
Toy?
Yeah,
like Niku Man things.
Well, like step 1 was put a quarter and you get Chun-Li. Step 2, you put another quarter and you get this fucking blue dinosaur. Like, what kind of mix we got going on here?
That's awesome.
Dude, the store probably did the same thing ours did, and when they didn't sell one for a while, they dumped it into another one. And we're like, okay, we're filling this with something else.
Yeah.
All right.
Majors wants an RSS Game Huggers feed. He says.
Oh yeah. We haven't done one of those in a while. So I used to create a version like this, and then a version like an audio only episode, like a traditional podcast, where I'd upload an RSS feed to TuneIn, iTunes, blah blah blah. I haven't done one of those in over a year. So yeah, he's probably like the only way right now to listen to this extremely entertaining podcast is via YouTube for now. So I guess I don't know. There hasn't been much demand other than our good friend Majors. He wants it for an RSS feed so he can download and just listen to. I don't know why anybody would want to listen to this voluntarily, but apparently there are people out there that want to do that. So,
sorry, Majors, you got to look at this if you're gonna watch.
Hey, can you do one more quick plug for the new Phoenix AIM server that's up and running? So you can all get back. You can all get back on AOL Instant Messenger 5 and talk to me.
Oh God.
Oh, on the plus side, at least this isn't I join IRC just to talk to you.
No, dual file chat's still around.
Punch joined IRC. He finally realized it's good time.
Oh, Punch is in there now?
Yeah, it's me, Punch, and Fred there. Yeah, we're chatting, and I got a bot named Oni-chan, so it's even better. Oh, wait, no. The one for the PCFX room is actually the bot's name on that server. You can pick from a list. There's one called MySpace, so that is the bot in that channel. Is MySpace.
Nice. All right. John, for fuck's sake, start talking, please.
So,
we're gonna do pickups.
Words of wisdom is perhaps an idea for a future chat. I don't really have anything wise to say. However,
do you have anything east to say?
This whole chat about gaming memories kind of reminded me about gaming memories that never were. I remember looking through video game magazines ad nauseum, just all the stuff, imports, even stuff that did come out here that I never got to play as a kid. Now as an adult, I get to enjoy. And there's so much cool shit out there. And I'm sure that's the draw for all of us, to experience the things that we always wanted to as a kid. Lady Phantom on PC Engine, for instance, the first Super CD game on the platform.
So good.
Oh, dude, when I finally bought that, it's like $10 a year or two ago. And I played it, start to finish.
Did you see that ad in GamePro? Was it the thing in GamePro that made you want to get it?
Dude, I fell in love with that ad as a kid. I never got into Sailor Moon, but I saw that ad, and for the longest time, I was searching for Sailor Moon games, trying to find fucking Lady Phantom.
Lady Phantom.
That game's fucking sweet, dude.
It's so good.
Oh, it is. It's such a great turn-based strategy game. But I mean, there's countless games like that you remember seeing but never really got to get into, and I think that's a big part of the draw to retro gaming, getting to have all those experiences that you couldn't as a kid with no job at $50 a pop for the price of admission to a game, and now it's just like fuck, download it, play it, love it. So
100%.
Absolutely. Anyway, visit duofile.com, the greatest site on the planet. Kiwi Farms is just behind us.
Jesus God.
Yes, it is I.
So, yeah.
I'm going to play some Lady Phantom now.
You should.
I'm gonna.
Soundtrack is badass, by the way. Okay, I'm done.
The reason why I got into Sakura Wars is Lady Phantom, because it has like a very, very, very similar. It made it super easy for me to transition into Sakura Wars thanks to Lady Phantom. Very similar gameplay.
Lady Phantom made it very easily for me to transfer over into Strip Fighter 2. So that same difference.
What?
Also a great game I got into later in life.
What about you a high leg fantasy fan?
Ooh,
I have that. I haven't even popped it in yet.
I haven't played that one, but Lady Sword was pretty freaking great. I mean, that's like what Theron's Quest should have been.
Dude, Lady Sword has really good pixel art.
Oh yeah, man,
dude, that's awesome.
What?
Dueling cats. That's hilarious.
That fucker is the bane of my existence.
Aw, he was adorable. Anyway,
he's not trying to maul you on screen.
Anyway, for real though, guys, Connor, John, Saru, Andrew, thanks for being a part of the show this week. I think it was a good one. We had a good time.
We got to do the Ultima one, you fuck.
We'll do an Ultima episode that's coming soon, sometime when we can find enough people to do an Ultima chat.
We had enough today, and you fucked that up. Way to go, guy. What's the gaming memory?
I thought today's conversation was good, actually.
Yeah, no, I'm just fucking.
I got a memory. Remember when Lord British wasn't a complete asshole? Oh wait, no.
Hey, he's going to space, man.
He already went to space, and
He went to space.
Fucker should have stayed there.
I've got pretty low standards, so I had a good time.
All right. Thank you guys for watching.
Hey, that's what Nightwolf's girlfriends say.
You mean his mom?
Wow.
No, I think you mean the one you showed us earlier.
Yeah.
And his arrow body pillow.
Shit.
We're still live recording.
Yeah, we are. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your weeks. Be good. Bye.
QB Farm.